The number one thing about a journalist, and this goes for all of you in here, is that you're a human first and a journalist second. You have to think with your heart, and you have to think with your head. You know, there was a lot of animosity. I know I've received many "you're number ones" by a lot of people that were mad that I was taking their picture. Many Columbine students during the anniversaries, or where they don't know who you are or why you're there, and I'm just trying to tell a story. And you have to remember that you're telling a story for millions and millions of people, and you have to weigh that with the little bit of uncomfortableness of being, photographed. Weigh that about, the strength of the story, what type of intrusion you can put into this as a journalist, and you have to make that call. And sometimes the call is, it doesn't matter. This is way bigger than me. It's way bigger than you. It's our nation. It's our world, and we need to do something about this. And looking at the pictures of Columbine just now, I got a connection with ISIS. I know this is crazy, but propagating and sending out the name of the perpetrators and how much of what we do as journalists glorifies these evil acts. That's a whole nother conversation, but it's something to think about. And I think about it a lot. I think about our picture. These are pictures from the 2003 Pulitzer Prize for breaking news for the fire coverage in Colorado. It was by the Rocky Mountain News staff. I personally spent 3 straight months traveling the state shooting fires. There was over 1,000 wildfires. We lost 350 some homes. It doesn't sound like much after a few of the other bigger fires since then. But it was a lot, and that's a lot of damage to one state. At one point, the governor called, the state was on fire. I mean, he said it. We are not in a state of emergency, we are on fire. And we had not enough resources. And Colorado was really hurting. Denver was filled with smoke for weeks on end. And a lot of people died. A lot of people lost their homes and everything they knew. It was a privilege for me to be part of this, but it's just to be able to be there and cover this. But
this is at the start of the Haman fire, and what they do for when you're covering the fires is that they take you up in the van to where the fires are from the safe location, and then they take you into the areas. They take you into the areas where the fire is. So as I'm waiting by the fire station outside of Sedalia, this little boy in his fireman outfit came, and his mom came up, and they brought some donuts or something for the firefighters. A few minutes later, she comes rushing out. She's got her child and she's getting in the car, and there was a sense of urgency because the winds were shifting. They told her, the winds are shifting, where's your house? You should go pack up your stuff and start thinking about evacuating. I raced over, got her name very quickly, and she said her son Spencer just wanted to come and help the firefighters that day. And she said, we got to go back and pack right now and get the house cleared out. So the emergency started to sink in that the Haman fire is an incredible monster. And when we have the winds here in Colorado, it can go any direction, go anyone's house, any person, in any way.
Our staff was overtaxed. We had 12 or 13 photographers on staff to try and cover an entire state for an entire summer, not to mention the entire Denver metro area. Was incredible. We were on a lot of OT. The newspaper invested a lot of money in us, just our time, not to mention travel expenses, overtime, and we were putting ourselves in harm's way. I was scared many days when I was out there. We chose these images to show the magnitude of what these fires were causing. There were 1,000 sheep in this barn. I didn't know it at the time. The farmer, rancher, brought his sheep into the farm to protect them from the fire. propane tanks caught on fire. And that was that. And this is the explosion. I was watching it burn and through my lens, and it exploded right in front of my face. I didn't know for a year that there was 100 sheep in there. It's pretty incredible. This guy was a neighbor. He saw his neighbor's house there's flames coming down behind here. You can't see, just behind the next tree line. And he hosed down his neighbor's house, just a random neighbor. He didn't know the neighbor, but he saw the fire coming, and he got up there, and he said it got too hot. I finally found this guy, by the way. But he said it got too hot, and I just went up there, and he was spraying down the roof. And he said, I got to get out of here, and he jumped off the roof.
That's why it's so sparkly up there.
An intern shot this.
Matt Minden?
And that goes for all of you. If you're a journalism student, your words and your pictures and what you do matter. If you capture something that's important, that matters, that it's valuable, make sure you try and get it out there. Don't just go, oh yeah, I ran into this story about whatever, and you go out there and tell the Denver Post, tell the New York Times, tell people about it, see if you can get it published.
The Great Tribune.
You know? He just got lucky. He was photographing planes doing slurry drops, and this plane broke up in midair while he was photographing it. It was the luck of the Irish, I guess. Funerals. This was for a state trooper, wasn't it? Yeah.
I think that's...
State trooper was, oh no, that's not, I don't know.
There was a...
Forest Service.
That could have been the pilot of that plane.
That's right. We shot it from the air. We shot it in funeral homes. We shot it in rescue missions. We shot it, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of assignments over the course of the summer. That's what it takes.
This is when they discovered that a local ranger, Martin, her name was Martin, had actually started a fire. This is in the little small town of Sedalia. Dennis was hanging out there with all these folks, and this is when they saw on TV at that moment, he just happened to be there, and wait a minute, we know this woman. She's our friend.
Incredible moment, right?
Yeah.
A really important thing to remember as a journalist is to be at the right place at the right time.
Remember
You've got to be
that.
there.
Remember to do that at all times.
You've got to be there. Okay, if you're not there, you're writing press releases. Okay, so same thing with photography. You've got to be there. You've got to be in person. You've got to feel it, taste it, smell it. There's no other way around it. You got to spend the time. I shot this real quick story. I was on a ride along with the U.S. Forest Service, and they were showing us where the fire had burned up in Estes Park, and they had. They were showing us, one log was kind of smoldering, and everything was burned out. Right? There's no flames. There's no homes. There's nothing. Right? They're just taking us along a back road where it's safe because it's already burning through. And the TV cameras, all 9 News, 4, 7, 31, Denver Post, Greeley, everyone's there. Like there's 20 journalists taking pictures of a burning log in the forest, burned out forest, right? And I looked at that and I go, come on, people. All of you, all these years of experience in this world, and there's a fire burning, you can see the smoke. There's homes right over here. What are you doing photographing this log? So I went up to the PIO, and they wanted us all to caravan. I said, no, I got too much gear. I can't caravan. I won't have a car. So they added me. And I went to the PIO. I go, I gotta go. Well, just find a tree. I go, there's no trees. I gotta go. And it's number two. I gotta go. She goes, all right. There's a porta potty. Go down this road, turn right, No, okay, got it. I'm out of here. I U-turned the hell out of there, and I went and found the fire. I found these firemen. There was a fireman on top of a fire truck with a radio. He was a spotter, a wind spotter. While a crew was mitigating trees around homes. And I'm like, oh, here's pictures, real pictures, right? Firemen doing fireman things, moving objects. And he goes, you want a picture, kid? And I'm like, of course. He goes, there's a plane that's coming over that ridge in 20 seconds. And he's talking to the pilot. So I knew, and so this plane is actually coming down on an angle, and it was lit by the sun, but the trees behind it were in shadow, so they just went black. But I got 2 runs with that plane, and I knew I had a front page picture. I got the hell out of there, took it to the newsroom, we're good. Gold, right? Editors are screaming, hallelujah. Picture of the day, right? So, being a journalist means being at the right place at the right time. I wasn't endangering anyone. I wasn't like breaking the law too much. I was with firemen.
Regulations.
I was with firemen, and I balanced out what I felt to be important, valuable information to show, the state what's going on with the fires, and stay safe, of course. So last thing I want to do is be in jail or dead in the hospital. Just a fireman, one random fireman. Anyway, these are just some images.
People evacuated.
Again, we were shooting fires, but fires mean nothing with how it affects the people. And we had thousands and thousands of displaced people. And that's heavy stuff, guys. I mean, imagine you leaving here right now thinking, oh, I'm going to go home, have dinner, blah, blah, blah. And there's no home. You can't get up your road. You can't get to your apartment. You're kicked out for good, for weeks. Right now. That's what these people were going through. It's sick. It was so much. Still playing golf. It's dedication.
He's annoyed at the smoke. Messing up his name.
In Colorado, we do not have a law that protects the First Amendment. In California, you can go shoot a fire like this, go shoot a home like this if you have a press credential and flip-flops on. In Colorado, you can be fully equipped, fully geared. I took 3 different wildfire training classes before this happened, and I was fully prepared. I mean, I had all the training a wildland firefighter had. 3 times. To prove to my editors, I was going to be safe. I was preparing for these. I shot these in California a bunch before Rocky. And here, you can't get access to these unless you are escorted, handheld by either the federal government or the local authorities. And they're not letting you in there because sheriffs are elected. And sheriffs will not let you into a fire zone because they can't let their people in, the residents.
And this was a ride-along that I was on, and they took us up to the log that had smoke on it as well. And thank you. And then we were driving back, and there was a horrible smell. Can we stop? Can we stop right here? And there was a Denver Post reporter in the car. And but anyhow, we all got out and said, let's go check this out. We spend like 5 minutes here checking that. So we went down into this valley, and that smelled horrific. And this whole valley was filled with cows. They couldn't get up off the fire. This is how fast the fire came in. Basically, standing still, wiped them out. That was a shot that looked the nicest of the cows. So that could be. And the Denver Post reporter who couldn't take a picture of this says, well, they won't publish that, will they? Yeah, I think so.
We're going to have a Q&A session after this. We're going to wrap really hard here, and I want to get Jim up here for you guys. So thank you for listening. We will have more time after this if